Part 49. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 481. That's right. Qiaoningsun and Yan Yuxiu went to the cafeteria to have dinner together, and then separated. He Yuanhui went back before her, made sure she was home, and asked her to lock the door before returning to his home. He Yuanyang has classes in the evening and is not back yet. After washing up, Qiaoningsun turned on the computer and started the live broadcast. The anchor finally appeared. Anchor, I haven't seen you for a long time. This time the anchor has disappeared for the longest time. Anchor, you should give me benefits after disappearing for so long. Yes, give welfare, give welfare. Qiaoningsun saw that those who wanted benefits were all die-hard fans, and they were usually the most generous with rewards. He said helplessly, "What benefits do you want?" "We want to see your true face." "Yes, I want to see it too." "To see." "Look." Qiaoningsun said, "Let's change it." "I don't want my true face to be exposed now." "Then let's put on some more talismans today." "I want a peace charm." "I want a career talisman." "I want a lucky charm." Qiaoningsun, "Okay, it's very simple, I'll hang up the link right away." She hung up 50 cards of each type, a total of 150 cards, 50 cards for each, and we will be ready to grab them in 2 minutes. Very good. There are really a lot more this time. I will definitely be able to grab it this time. Anchor, can I customize the talisman paper? Qiaoningsun glanced at the person whose account number was Ning Ning Ning, counted his fingers, and knew clearly that it was indeed Ning Liuhan. She wants to customize talisman paper? Could it be that kind of talisman? Qiaoningsun became interested and asked, what kind of talisman do you want to customize? Ning Liuhan, who was on the other side of the network line, saw the anchor replying to her and said excitedly, "Can we chat privately?" Qiaoningsun, "Okay." Ning Ning Ning, "Anchor, I am your loyal fan. I have a problem and I want you to help me solve it with talisman paper." Qiaoningsun, "I don't harm others." Ning Ning Ning, "I don't want you to harm anyone. I just want to customize a bad luck charm. I just want to make that person unlucky. It shouldn't be illegal to use talismans to bring bad luck to others, right? When the time comes when she clings to Qiaoningsun's body, causing Qiaoningsun's own misfortune, whatever happens then will have nothing to do with her. Qiaoningsun, the bad luck charm cannot be customized. Ning Ning Ning, why not? Qiaoningsun, I don't harm others, harming others will harm my merits. Ning Ning Ning, I just made her unlucky. Qiaoningsun, if you say no, it won't work. If you keep messing around, I will release the chat history. Ning 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 suddenly became angry. Today was really unlucky. Qiaoningsun bullied her in life, and an online anchor she liked also bullied her. Which did she offend today to make her so unlucky? Ning Liuhan felt really depressed, so she called her boyfriend and started crying. Qiaoningsun ignored Ning 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 and went to take a look at the sales of Qiao's wardrobe before continuing the live broadcast. Everyone, there are 3 quotas today. Please hurry up. The first quota will be posted on the 16th. Those who become lucky. God bless, I hope it's me. I hope it's me too. I really have something important to ask. Alas, I definitely have no hope. There are too many people in this live broadcast room. That's right, I miss every time. Qiaoningsun, congratulations on eating meat every day. It's a great surprise to have meat to eat every day. Pay quickly and apply for a connection. After a while, a woman appeared in the live broadcast room. Qiaoningsun, hello, what do you want to do? Meat to eat every day, anchor, I have been married for 12 years and have never had children. My husband and I went to the hospital for a checkup, which proved that both of us are fine. I just want to ask, will I ever get pregnant again in this life? Can you still have your own children? Married for 12 years without a child of your own? It is indeed a bit miserable for women who want to have children. Yes, it's just a bit miserable for people who want children, but nothing for people who hate children. According to the way things have developed in the past, shouldn't I have to eat meat every day and be tricked again? Very possible. Xiaoningsun made a calculation: if you continue to be with your current husband, you will not be able to get pregnant. Eating meat every day, I was stunned. What's the reason? Is he sick and just hiding it from me? Xiaoningsun, he is not sick. If my calculation is correct, he and his ex-wife have a child. You have taken care of him since he was 2 years old. You raised him as your biological son, right? He eats meat every day and nodded. Yes, the child is now 14 years old. He has regarded me as his biological mother since he was a child, so I am also very good to him. But now he has reached the rebellious stage and does not listen to me very much. Knowing that I am not his biological mother, whenever I discipline him, he will silence me about the fact that I am not his biological mother. Both my parents and relatives said that children should be related to me by blood to be closer. I didn't take it seriously at first. I felt that the children I brought up must be towards me. After quarreling with my stepson several times, I think my mother's family is right. They really want a biological child, regardless of gender. Xiaoningsun, the reason you can't get pregnant is because your man doesn't want you to get pregnant and takes male contraceptive pills. Knew it? I guessed wrong. I thought the man was sick. I thought the man had had a sterilization. Men are rarely willing to undergo sterilization because they think it affects their health, but they force women to undergo sterilization. Shanghuan also affects health. In the past, there was no other way. Men couldn't live without women, and they were worried about women getting pregnant, so they forced women to get pregnant. Yes, there are many such scumbags around me. Eating meat every day looked shocked. How is it possible? Why would he do this? Xiaoningsun, he is not very capable, and his salary is not as much as yours. If you are pregnant, you will definitely not be able to work for a long time. During maternity leave, the salary is also very low. Now in your family, actually it depends on your salary. If you have one more child, he will be very tired. And he thinks that one child is enough. If there are too many children, he will be too noisy. Eat meat every day and smile bitterly, just because he doesn't want to work hard to make money. That's why he won't let me get pregnant. Xiaoningsun, this is just one of the reasons. There is another reason. He is worried that if you have a biological child, you will not treat your stepson well. If you never have a biological child, maybe your property and your parents' property may be lost in the future. I will leave it to my stepson. This kind of person is too selfish. Yes, it is enough for him to have a biological child. He doesn't care that his current wife will not have a good life in her later years if she does not have a biological child. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen Chen. Chapter 482. That is, I seem to have guessed why he got divorced once, probably because he was not responsible. In reality, there are actually many such people, but some people hide them very well. I agree with you upstairs. You have meat to eat every day, you are really an honest person, you have found someone with children, and his salary is not even as high as yours. What are you trying to do? Are you planning his second marriage? Meat to eat every day, my salary was not as high as his when I got married. It has only been raised in recent years. My salary was about the same as his at the time. I went on blind dates with several people, but he was the only one who was considerate and treated me well, very considerate. I don't care about other people's looks and personalities, but I only like him. My natal family is just an ordinary family. My father and mother only own a house. I also have a set of premarital property, which is worth less than 4 million in total. I really didn't expect that he would do this for a few million. My whole life. In reality, many men say that women worship money. In fact, many men also worship money. If they worship money, it will be terrible, and their lives may be lost. Yes, I have a person here who knows that his wife has a million yuan in savings, and plans to cause her to die unexpectedly, and wants to inherit her money, but luckily she finds out. Although not all, if some men really worship money, women will have nothing to do with them. Some women worship money. She will directly say that they want money for a house. Most of them can't get it, so they turn around and leave to find the next house. But if many men worship money, they will not say so directly, but will secretly plan to kill their spouse and inherit her inheritance when the time is right. Agree upstairs. Every day I watched the barrage and felt very uncomfortable. I asked again, Anchor, do you know where his male contraceptive pills are? Qiaoning Sun, it's in the drawer under your desk. He put it in his cigarette case. He knew you hated cigarettes and wouldn't even touch the box, so he kept it there all these years. He just kept it in it regularly. Change the box without arousing your suspicion. Every day I have meat to eat. I opened the drawer and found the cigarette case. When I opened it, I saw that it was really medicine, but the outer packaging was missing. It's actually placed in such an obvious place, it's really dark under the lamp. The most dangerous place is the safest place. Her husband is indeed quite scheming. I really learned a lot today, there is such a man. The sisters in the live broadcast room should take this as a lesson. I follow the anchor, and I heard that you can gain a lot of knowledge in the anchor's live broadcast room. Upstairs, that's for sure. Eat meat every day with a sad look on his face. I devote myself wholeheartedly to this family, but he actually plotted against me. It's really too much. As soon as she finished speaking, the bedroom door behind her was pushed open. Gao Junchen wondered, what's too much? Who bullied you? After speaking, I saw the live broadcast on the computer and asked with concern, are you live broadcasting? Has someone scolded you online? Sure enough, life is like a play, it all depends on acting. If the anchor hadn't told this person's true purpose in advance, he would have been a really good man. That is, he thought that no one would find out about him in this life. Everyone, wait and see the good show. If I have meat to eat every day and am willing to divorce, I am willing to marry her. Upstairs, you probably have your eye on 2 other people's houses. Looking at your homepage, you are an unemployed vagrant. What about the homeless? I can give her a biological child. Idiot, other people have 2 houses and are so good looking. What kind of man can't be found? I want to find you, a jobless vagrant, and become a lifelong burden. From now on, I will not only have to raise children, but I will also have to raise you, a loser. That's right, it sounds like if you are willing to marry, you are giving others a great favor. Do others care that you are an old bachelor? I think you just haven't been able to find a wife, so you started talking nonsense. Your purpose is too obvious. You are obviously going to someone else's house without even pretending. Haha, I agree with you upstairs. Qian Shuang, who had meat to eat every day, pushed the medicine in the cigarette box to her husband and said in a cold voice, explain to me, what is this? Gao Junchen's expression suddenly changed when he saw those medicines, but he soon realized that he was acting too obviously, so he calmed down and said, this is just an ordinary vitamin. Vitamins, Qian Shuang said coldly, do you dare to let me take it for testing? Gao Junchen suddenly became impatient, I said it's vitamins, it's vitamins. Since you don't believe me, we won't use them. With Qian Shuang's temperament, she will definitely be afraid. After all, she is already 40 years old, and it is not easy to get married again. Qian Shuang smiled mockingly to herself. Why has she fallen in love with such a thing in the past 10 years or so? She is really blind. Qian Shuang sneered, it's just that. Do you think I'm afraid of you? After knowing that you deliberately took male contraceptive pills and didn't want me to have a biological child. You wanted your biological child, my stepson, to inherit my house. Even after it's my parents' house, I don't want to divorce you. We'll never see each other again. Gao Junchen's face was full of astonishment. She actually knew everything? Shuang Gao Junchen said hurriedly, I was just joking. How could I not want you to have a biological child? I just don't want you to suffer. My ex-wife left early because she hurt her body after giving birth. I don't want you to get pregnant, and I don't want to lose you. Qian Shuang suddenly applauded a few times and sneered, what you say is really better than what you sing. Why for me? Just for your son. I have woken up now, and this marriage must be divorced. Gao Junchen thought about it and said something incomprehensible, divorce is okay, but the children must stay with you. Qian Shuang's eyes widened and she looked at him as if he was mentally retarded. Is there anything wrong with your head? That's the child of you and your ex-wife. What does it have to do with me? I raised him and took care of him for more than 10 years. Already worthy of him. Is this person really mentally retarded? There is something wrong with the brain. That is, the child he has with his ex-wife has a far-fetched relationship with his current wife. He is not mentally retarded, he treats others as if they are mentally retarded and wants to take advantage after the divorce. Gao Junchen started to lie, if you don't want children, then I won't leave. Qian Shuang mocked, it's useless if you don't leave. I will go to court to sue, and I already know your purpose. I will notarize my premarital property and my natal family's property. If I die, I will just donate it. If something happens to me during this period, your son will not be qualified to inherit my house. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen. Chapter 483. Gao Junchen suddenly became angry, do you have to do things so absolutely? Qian Shuang, I can only let you do the first grade of junior high school, and I can't do the 15th grade. Gao Junchen thought that if he got divorced, Qian Shuang's house would really have nothing to do with him in the future. He begged, Shuang, I was wrong. I will never use contraception again. How about this? Don't you just want a child? I can give it to you. I just ask you to continue to be kind to my eldest son, okay? No, Gao Shuang was completely awake at this time and would not be fooled by his lies. What you are saying now is just a delaying measure. Whether I can get pregnant in the future is still a question. Even if I am pregnant, you can still make plans. For example, let me fall and completely lose my ability to get pregnant. Gao Junchen was stunned. Why did this man suddenly become so smart? You are so awake when you have meat to eat every day. This must be his plan. Whether you are a man or a woman, as long as you calculate it once, you can say goodbye. I agree with you upstairs, if you don't break up after being tricked once, you may lose your life next time. Gao Junchen frowned and said, then how can you forgive me? Qian Shuang's tone was cold, I won't forgive you no matter what, and I won't forgive you even if you die. Tomorrow I will entrust a lawyer to draft a divorce agreement. For the sake of the relationship between the child and you, all property will be divided between 30 and 70. I am 7 and you are 3. You don't have to worry about my premarital property. If you don't agree, I will go to court and I believe the law will give me a fair compensation. She knows that a man cannot push him too hard. If she asked him to leave the house, he would probably break the pot and do something to hurt her. She pushed Gao Junchen out of the house. I want to pack my things. After packing, I will leave and go back to my own house. After saying that, she slammed the door and closed it. Back at the table, Qian Shuang said gratefully, "Anchor, thank you very much. If it weren't for you, I probably wouldn't have discovered Gao Junchen's conspiracy even if I died." Qiaoning Xuan, "It's okay, do you have any questions?" Qian Shuang asked, "I still want to know, can I divorce Gao Junchen smoothly?" Qiaoning Xuan, "If you want a smooth divorce, you have to show courage. For example, every time you see him, be tougher and bring a few strong men with you. Gao Junchen is a typical person who bullies the weak and fears the strong. Whenever he encounters a man who is stronger than him, he will be extremely afraid." Qian Shuang thought of Gao Junchen's temperament and nodded, "I understand, then can I still have my own biological child?" Qiaoning Xuan, "Your good match has actually appeared, but you have always regarded him as a friend, and you are still married, so he deliberately suppressed his feelings." Friend. Qian Shuang was stunned when she thought of the unmarried people around her. No way. Is it because of herself that he is not married yet? But there is an 8-year age difference between her and that person. Even if he was willing to marry her, his family would probably not agree. Qian Shuang said blankly, "Anchor, is my good match really that person?" Qiaoning Xuan, "That's right, don't care too much about the age gap. As long as it's true love, age doesn't matter." Qian Shuang hesitated for a moment, then suddenly nodded resolutely with eyes, "Thank you, Anchor, for your guidance." 3 minutes later, the second lucky person appeared. Little reporters can quickly apply for a connection after paying. After a while, a man appeared in the live broadcast room. Qiaoning Xuan, "Little reporter, what do you want to ask?" Little reporter, "Anchor, I don't want to tell fortunes. I am really a reporter. I have been in your live broadcast room for a long time and have watched your live broadcasts many times. You are really amazing, so I want to do it for you. A special report, okay. Don't worry, as long as you accept my interview, I can make you famous all over the internet. If you don't want to tell fortunes, then don't grab a spot. That is, if you want to interview the anchor, send her a private message. If you are lucky, she will reply. That is, there are only 3 places in total, and you have wasted one. The first one has been counted, and only one is left. Selfish, selfish. Perhaps he thinks that if he gives money, the anchor will be soft-handed with money, so he may not refuse him. Ah! He must be too confident. Haha, some people obviously don't have any capital, but they are inexplicably confident. When others walk by him or her, or if they wear something nicer, they think they are wearing it for him or her. Agree upstairs. Qiaoning Xuan, no, you want to make a special topic for me. You just want to find out who I am, who my master is, and how I learned fortune telling. I don't want to announce these for the time being, so as not to expose my family and friends. Study career brings trouble, I will announce it when it is time, and I will not be forced by anyone. Seeing her tough attitude, the little reporter added, "Don't you want to be famous in reality? With your ability, if you become famous in reality, those rich people will definitely step through the door of your home and have endless money." Qiaoning Sun sneered, "Money? So you plan to cooperate with me this time? You interview me, help me expand my reputation, and then I give you money." Seeing that his thoughts had been seen through, the little reporter touched his nose uncomfortably. Haha, this person is really brave. He is the first one who dares to scheme against the anchor and ask the anchor to give him money. No wonder he didn't count his fortune and gave it to the carnival. If he succeeded, he would make much more money than that carnival. Disgusting, actually plotting against the little girl. I am still a reporter, all my education has been fed to dogs. Xiao Xiao reporter saw that friends were criticizing him and couldn't help but defend. I didn't plot against the anchor, I just cooperated. We can win-win in the future. Qiaoning Xun, win-win? If I promise you, every time a rich person comes to me in the future, you will post them and do exclusive interviews for those rich people. In this way, you will have special reports and money. And you can also expand your network. Could it be that he wanted to have a relationship with a rich man? Definitely, he is so confident, maybe he still has brothers and sisters at home, or maybe for his own sake, he wants to find a wealthy daughter to make a big comeback. The truth is revealed upstairs. What a win-win situation, the anchor will be his stepping stone. That's right, it's just that he dared to scheme against the anchor, and he was really brave enough. Haha, there is a good show to watch today. Seeing that the water friends had guessed his true purpose, the little reporter was not embarrassed and continued, "Anchor, let me ask you one last time, do you agree? This is a good opportunity for you to become famous. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible." Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 484. Qiaoning Xun, if I want to be famous, I don't need you at all. I can just announce my true identity. The little reporter frowned, "So, you don't agree?" Qiaoning Xun, "I won't agree." The little reporter looked displeased and said, "If you don't agree, just give me your money back." Qiaoning Xun, "My homepage clearly states that giving rewards is something you and I want to do. We are all adults and we have no regrets. If you don't want to tell fortunes yourself and if you fail to achieve your goal, you will have to ask me for a refund and shame." Little reporter, "I didn't ask you to tell your fortune, why am I so shameless? You still say you want face, this is a fortune-telling live broadcast, you don't tell fortunes, why are you here to cause trouble?" That is, I thought he was a person who really didn't care about money, but I didn't expect that he would want to come back. You have wasted so much of the host's time and you still want your money back. Do you really think that the anchor and us fans are vegetarians? Dante, let me know where you work, otherwise I will make trouble in your company. It's really shameless. Qiaoning Xun looked appreciative, "You are all my best mouthpieces." Seeing that he had aroused public anger again, the little reporter wanted to go off the air. But for some reason, his hands and feet did not obey his orders, so he could only continue to live broadcast. Qiaoning Xun looked at the little reporter, "Didn't you say that I didn't tell your fortune?" "It's true that I didn't tell your fortune. So be it, I'll tell you your fortune." As she spoke, she counted her fingers in front of the camera, and suddenly her face darkened. "I didn't expect you to have an unknown past." The little reporter's face turned pale. Could this anchor have figured out what he had done in the past? "Anchor, tell me quickly, I'm very curious." With the anchor's expression, he must have done something illegal, right? Definitely, haha, the criminals came to the door themselves, it's so funny. This is the retribution of the calculating anchor. That is, do you really think that our anchor is a vegetarian? Qiaoning Xun saw his nervous expression and continued, "When you were 16, your parents died. You have one older sister and two younger sisters. When I was 18 years old, I was admitted to college without the help of my parents. I received relief funds and didn't know how to save. I went to the county town to eat, drink and have fun. Because of this, you couldn't afford the tuition, so you sold your second sister to a 35-year-old bachelor in the same village for 30,000. A 35-year-old is worthy of your 15-year-old sister. It's really cruel. You have no parents to discipline you, and you always do as you please. When you were in college, you spent a lot of money, and soon attracted the attention of a money-worshipping girl, who thought you were a kid from a rich family. After you got that person, because that person kept asking you for money, you lost patience with buying expensive gifts, tricked her into going back to your hometown, and then sold her to a bachelor in the village next to your hometown for 20,000 yuan. Not long after, you ran out of money again, so you sold the remaining sister and got a total of 40,000 yuan. Your college girlfriend was sold and refused to obey, so she committed suicide. Your sisters are also living a miserable life now. They all have given birth to at least 3 children, and they are beaten and scolded by the buyer's family every day, and they are treated like cattle and horses. The ultimate purpose of coming to me is to use me to get to know a rich girl, so that you can completely turn over in the future, and then get the rich girl's property, and enjoy the glory and wealth for the rest of your life. The live broadcast room suddenly exploded. Is that human being? It's simply worse than an animal. This kind of man is spoiled by his family. He feels that he is a man and everyone in the family should pay for him as a matter of course. He is selfish. In other words, this person can now become a reporter, and he got it by stepping on the happiness of women. Being so cruel to his own family members shows that his character is not very good. I don't know which company is using it. If you let me know, I will be in trouble forever. I agree with you upstairs, don't let me see him in real life in the future, otherwise I will spray him to death. Upstairs, if you want to see him, you probably have to go to prison. Oh, that's true, haha, the trafficker who took the initiative to send me to my door made me laugh to death. The little reporter also reacted at this time and wanted to download the broadcast and run away. But just like before, his hands and feet still didn't obey his orders. At this moment, the door to his room was opened, and a man in professional attire said, "Master, these police said they are looking for you." The little reporter's face changed. When he saw the police coming, he suddenly stood up and said quickly, "What do you want from me?" After saying this, he looked horrified. He could actually move again? The old policeman showed his ID and said, "You have been reported as suspected of human trafficking. Come with us." I didn't. The little reporter suddenly looked at the mobile live broadcast room. Did this anchor named Chang Sheng say this? She is a liar. She is talking nonsense. Don't believe her. A young policeman suddenly took out his mobile phone and pointed it at the reporter. The reporter's face instantly turned pale when he saw the person on the video call on his mobile phone. The person who appeared on the young policeman's cell phone was none other than the man who bought his college girlfriend. The man is already in jail for causing death due to negligence. But because he did not know the identity of Xiao reporter at the beginning, he never revealed him. Just now, a police officer sent a private message to Chiao Ningxun backstage for more information about the incident. Knowing that the bachelor was in prison, he asked the prison police to make a video with the police handling the case. The person in the video said excitedly, "This is the person who sold me, the person who hurt me so miserably. Bitch, don't let me see you again, otherwise I will see you once and beat you once." The old policeman looked at the young reporter coldly. "Now, do you still want to quibble?" The little reporter glanced at the colleagues watching at the door and knew that his life was over, and he suddenly fainted. The police were not merciful and dragged him downstairs. Chiao Ningxun cut off the connection with the little reporter and continued, "Okay, let's continue to wait for the third lucky person to appear today." After a while, the third person appeared. The spring breeze blows and I see that I have been selected. I quickly give a reward and apply for a connection. Soon, a girl in her 20s appeared in the live broadcast room. "Chiao Ningxun, the spring breeze blows and life comes again. Hello, what do you want to do?" Chung Feng Chui Yu's Hung thought of what he wanted to ask, and said with a worried face, "Anchor, I want to ask about marriage. Should I marry my current boyfriend?" Chiao Ningxun calculated with her fingers and said with certainty, according to my calculations, your relationship is very stable. Something happened recently that could shake up your marriage, right? Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 485. The spring breeze blows again. Yes, my boyfriend and I are both 30 years old this year, and we have never been to each other's houses before. In August, my boyfriend and I took annual leave and went back to his hometown. But on the night he went back, his grandma passed away. His family initially insisted that I was not my boyfriend's lover. They also said that I killed his grandma and asked me to pay for his grandma's funeral. But according to what I know, his grandma was seriously ill those days. My boyfriend took me back because he wanted to see that before his grandma died, he already had a girlfriend and could leave with peace of mind. It had nothing to do with me. Even if he doesn't go back that day, his grandma will die. I argued hard, saying it was not my fault, and his family members were also making trouble, forcing me to pay. Of course I can't go out. When I first learned that his grandma was dead, I planned to give his parents a red envelope worth 5,000 yuan, but they blamed all their faults on me, so I didn't want to go out at all. Later on, I got really tired of my boyfriend's family, so I packed my bags and left in the middle of the night. But they knew my intention, detained my luggage, and refused to allow me to leave. I was locked in my boyfriend's room. Just when I wanted to call the police, their attitude suddenly changed and they said that they could not let me pay for the funeral expenses, but my boyfriend and I had to get married within the 100 days of Rihyo. And you can't ask for a bride price. I just wanted to get out as soon as possible, so I agreed. After attending his grandmother's funeral, we returned to our place of work, which is my place of residence, Nanjing. Oh my God, this man is so disgusting. That's right, if they have to say that they were killed, it's better to say that they were killed by his grandson. After all, if his grandson doesn't go back, people won't die. That's right, I think there's no need for you to ask this question because the character of your boyfriend's parents is not very good. The first time a girl went to her boyfriend's house, she was wrongly accused and asked to pay for his funeral. It's really disgusting. I also think, you don't even need to ask the anchor, don't marry, never marry. Spring breeze blows again, but my boyfriend apologized to me later. After all, we have been in a relationship for 7 years. He is usually very considerate and has a good job. In a public institution, before we got married, he gave me $3 every month. 1,000 yuan, let me save it for him. Let you keep it for him. That's all his money too. That is, although not all, a man who can drag you until you are 30 without getting married is not a good person, not to mention his job is very stable. Yes, did you know that if you help him save money, he will definitely spend your money on a regular basis. If he breaks up with you, he can ask you to get the money back. At that time, the only one who will lose is yourself, and you have raised him for 7 years in vain. I agree with you upstairs if I guess correctly, every time he transfers the money to you, he must have made a note for you to keep it temporarily. Even if they break up in the future, you can still get it all back. If you don't give it, he will sue you and the court will. It is also supported. Changfeng was shocked again and said, how could this happen? Qiaoning Suan, it really does happen. Sometimes, don't underestimate the scheming of the person next to you. Changfeng Chui Yuz Hung said with a face full of disbelief, but on weekdays, he is really a very good person and treats me really well. Qiaoning Suan, regardless of men and women, some people will pretend before marriage. He is just acting because he knows that your father is in a high position, your mother is in business, and you also have a lot of property in your name. He is a phoenix man. It's really a blessing to find a girlfriend like you. Chunfanki Yuz Hung felt a little uncomfortable. So, anchor, you mean, I shouldn't marry him, right? Xiaoning Xuan, that's right. As for the reasons, there are several. First, your family is well off. He comes from a mountain village. If he marries you, the whole family will be able to turn around. He is also the best married among his cousins. So he feels that he will have the most face among relatives in the future. Second, your father's work will be very helpful for his future work. Third, you are also capable and can earn more than 20,000 yuan a month even if you have multiple children in the future. He thinks he can afford it. He is indeed a scumbag. A cunning man. It's so miserable to be born again when the spring breeze blows. The spring breeze blows again, but you just said that he gave me money to save because he wanted to go back after we break up. He cares so much about my family, so he shouldn't break up with me, right? Xiaoning Xuan, silly sister, he won't break up with you, but you may break up with him. Aren't your family members always disapproving of your relationship? So he kept it in check. In this way, even if they break up in the future, he will lose. It's not too big either. To tell you the truth, your boyfriend's family really asked you to pay that day. If you don't pay, they won't let you come back to work. It was your boyfriend who told you how rich and capable your family is. You are a very profitable person, and their family feels that marrying you is more cost-effective than having you pay tens of thousands of yuan for funeral expenses, so they let you go. As for your boyfriend taking you back when his grandma was seriously ill, he did it on purpose, just to force you to get married. Now, his grandma is dead. The custom in their family is that when your biological grandfather or grandmother dies, either get married within 100 days, or you can only get married after 3 years. He can't wait 3 years, and you certainly won't wait another 3 years. In 3 years, you will be 33 years old, so I force you to get married as soon as possible. This man is too insidious. That's right, his family members are not very good either. At the spring breeze blows again, and I also think it's best that you don't get married. Although not all, most well-matched marriages will actually have fewer conflicts when they live together in the future. The spring breeze blows again. Is there any evidence for what you said? Xiaoning Xuan, your boyfriend is already asleep, right? You can peek at his mobile phone and see the chat history between him and his family. His parents don't know how to type and usually use voice, so he won't have time to delete it. The spring breeze blows again, but I don't have the unlock password. Xiaoning Xuan operated the computer for a while. I sent you a private message for the password. The spring breeze blew and you stood up. After struggling for a while, you returned to the bedroom, took your boyfriend's mobile phone, returned to the study, and continued the live broadcast. She woke up her phone, entered her password, and sure enough it was unlocked. Although I knew that Xiaoning Xuan was very powerful, I didn't expect that she could even figure out something as personal as a password. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 486. I found the WeChat account of my boyfriend's parents and took a quick look at it. They were all voice records. In order to save time, she directly filtered the days and started listening from the few days before she last returned to his hometown. This time, she heard the key information. Bring her back with you. If your grandma dies, we can still blame her out of guilt. She might be able to marry you as soon as possible, and your grandma's funeral expenses will also be paid. Didn't you say that she wanted to get married a few years ago, but you didn't know her family background, so you didn't want to get married? Later, when you found out about her family background, didn't her family allow her to get married? If someone from our side dies, if she is warm and filial, her parents will no longer object. Son, your uncle has come to me many times and asked you to find him a job. Isn't your girlfriend's family very capable? Get married as soon as possible and ask them to arrange a job for him. It doesn't need to be too big. An officer only needs to be able to manage 40 or 50 people. Son, your cousin also wants to get out of the mountains. Didn't you say that your girlfriend's relatives are also rich? There are still a few who are not married. When you get married, you can give it to your cousin. Let's take care of it. You don't have to be too rich, just a family with a few houses and an income of 4 to 5 million a year will be enough. Son, we will go over to discuss your marriage in the next few days. Their family is so rich, if they ask us for a bride price, we will kill your grandma because of her. You should tell her in the next few days that we can't afford the house. We do have 200,000 yuan in hand, but that is our pension money. Also, if you ask her to give her a dowry of 500,000 yuan, just tell her that this is the custom here. When the dowry comes, you give the money to me and I will keep it for you to prevent her from spending money lavishly. Her family is so rich, why don't you let her family buy a villa for you to use as a wedding room, so that if we can't live together anymore, we can live in your house and let her take care of me. Mom, I know. I dated her because I knew her family was rich. Don't worry, my previous behavior was based on what was said on the internet. She often read poisonous chicken soup on the internet and thought I was a great man. When I took over her father's position, I kicked her. After hearing this, Spring Breeze Use Hung smiled to himself. Sure enough, she was really stupid before. She really thought that she was different from others and met a different Phoenix man. She has been fighting with her family, pushing herself to the point of being unmarried in her 30s. It's exactly the same as what the anchor said. Now you should believe that what the anchor said is true. Listen to the anchor, don't get married, otherwise your family will definitely be eaten by him without leaving any bones. It's really terrible. I have heard in the past that some men will plot against women and even the woman's family. Today I finally saw it with my own eyes. Chunfanchui Use Hung cried and said, if I break up with him, but I am already 30 years old this year, if I want to cultivate another relationship, it will definitely take at least half a year, and at most 2 or 3 years. By then my age will be getting older and older. Big, outstanding men must have been chosen. Sister, what are you afraid of? You are rich, good looking, and have a good family background, but you are too unsure of yourself. Yes, what happened to 30? I didn't meet my current husband until I was 32 years old, and my life is still prosperous. With your face, girl, do you believe that as long as you break up, people who are willing to go on a blind date with you can line up hundreds of meters in the live broadcast room? When the time comes, we will meet one by one. You are too stupid. Which is more terrible, marrying the wrong person and being plotted for the rest of your life, or not marrying? Is it more terrifying to marry the wrong person and die, or to be single and alone? Don't you know it yourself? That is, what happens if you don't get married? It's not the end of the world anymore, I'll look for it later. It's time for you to communicate with your parents. Based on your parents' background, it is estimated that a blind date has been prepared for you and is waiting for you to break up. Agree upstairs. Qiaoning Suan, the spring breeze is blowing again, you should think about it carefully. Although you are 30 years old, what happened to you at 30 years old? In big cities, there are many people who are not married at 30 years old. If you care too much about yourself at your age, he can take control of you. The spring breeze blows again, anchor, when can I start my next relationship? Qiaoning Suan, within a month. So fast. Sure enough, the spring breeze blows and springs again. You think too much, you have someone who wants it. Haha, that's right. What the anchor said is definitely not wrong. Chunfanchui breathed another sigh of relief, opened the door with his cell phone, and planned to find her boyfriend. As soon as she opened the door, she saw her boyfriend just coming out of the bedroom. Amo Shenglian saw his girlfriend holding his cell phone in her hand, rushed forward and snatched it back, and said nervously, "What are you doing with my cell phone?" Seeing how nervous Chunfanbu Yu's Hung was, he sneered, "What? Is there anything you can't let me see?" Amo Shenglian also knew that he was a little excited just now and aroused suspicion. He coughed lightly and said, "No, it's just some work matters. The leader asked to keep it secret. I'm worried that you will see it." Chunfanchui sneered again, "I think you are worried that I will see how you and your mother discuss and plot against me, right?" Amo Shenglian was stunned. "No, how could it be? The spring breeze blows again, no need to say more, I have seen your mobile phone and listened to the chat history between you and your mother. Amo Shenglian, I really don't know that you are so scheming. Pretending to be innocent in front of me should make you very tired, right? Congratulations, you won't have to be so tired again. Let's break up." Amo Shenglian frowned and said, "Break up? We have been in a relationship for 7 years, how can you say the word break up? How is it impossible? The spring breeze blew again, I have finally seen you clearly. Let me tell you, I will never marry you. My mother bought this house for me. You can get out of my house immediately, get out." Amo Shenglian's face changed. "Baby, how can you say such cold and heartless words? Was our previous relationship all fake? The spring breeze blows again, my feelings for you are true, but I can't guarantee your feelings for me." Amo Shenglian gritted his teeth, "Didn't I just say a few words to my mother? I know what my mother said was too much, but I just agreed with her and didn't practice it. The spring breeze blows again, I don't believe it. Are you leaving? If you don't leave, I will call the police." Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 487. Chapter 487 Goodbye Zhang Chao and Zhang Cai. Amo Shenglian glanced at the time on his phone and said, "It's very late now. I'll leave tomorrow, okay? The spring breeze blows and gives birth again, it can't be done." Amo Shenglian had no choice but to break up, then forget the 3,000 yuan I saved with you every month. I saved it for 6 years, 3,000 yuan every month, which is 36,000 yuan a year, 1,000 yuan, a total of 216,000, you give it all back to me. The spring breeze brings forth a wry smile again, I am really told that longevity and longevity are right. 216,000. You have the nerve to ask me for it? Over the years, you have given me 3,000 every month, but I have also spent a lot of money on you and transferred a lot of money to you. And have you forgotten that 2 years ago your cousin wanted to buy a house and you borrowed 250,000 from me and you haven't paid it back yet? Amo Shenglian was anxious, my cousin borrowed it? Go ask him for it. How can you deduct my money? The spring breeze blew again, you borrowed it for your cousin, of course I borrowed it from you. It was the money you took from me, and I didn't give it directly to your cousin. If you transfer it to me, I will transfer it to you, it's for you, don't worry, I will make a list and file a lawsuit in court for the remaining money, so prepare yourself and get out. Seeing her resolute attitude, Amo Shenglian had no choice but to pack up and leave. The money will probably never come back. On the way to the hotel, Amo Shenglian suddenly received a call from home, "Son, your mother and I really can't sleep. Have you told her that we are coming to discuss your marriage?" Amo Shenglian said impatiently, Not, what not? She didn't know how she knew the unlock password of my phone. She heard all the voices you sent me on WeChat. She broke up with me, and she was kicked out. Mother Mo, what? She is too cruel, I just said a few words. You are also honest. You just leave when she asks you to leave. Amo Shenglian, what can I do if I don't leave? Will I be embarrassed by staying at her house and waiting for her to call the police? It's not like you went too far last time. Grandma was about to die, but in the end, you actually wanted her pay for the funeral expenses. Now that your wife is gone, are you happy? Mother Mo, my son, when I said that, I also wanted to give her a blow. I wanted to know if she could handle it well. Who knew she had such a strong personality? I would say, it doesn't matter if we break up, it's not easy to handle. Our family of 3 will definitely suffer a lot in the future. There are many capable people in your company. Find someone rich so that your dad and I can live a good life. Mo Shenglian shouted, do you think the streets are full of rich people? Do you think rich people are all that stupid? One by one, they are waiting to be deceived by me. After yelling, he quickly hung up the phone. Just as he was crossing the intersection, a truck suddenly rushed over, causing him to instantly fall into a pool of blood. When he woke up, his legs were broken into several sections. Considering that he was a disabled person, his employer introduced him to an idle job where he was starving and the salary was pitifully low. From then on, he lived alone for the rest of his life. Of course, this is all for later. The live broadcast ended. Xiaoningsun waited until 12 o'clock and returned to Gasugu to start practicing as before. Thinking of her last dream, she did not meditate for the time being, but went to look around. If the people in that dream had really existed, it would not be surprising that Gasugu could become her holy land for cultivation. A few minutes later, she returned to Gasugu and continued to meditate. After practicing, she flew to her home invisibly as usual to check out the situation. There is no problem at home. Hello to Xiaoiche, she went to look at the fields again. In recent times, the land contracted by my family has increased crazily. Many surrounding villages, after learning that the land contracted by Lao Jiao's family provided them with good money and even allowed them to work in Lao Jiao's family, they were willing to let Lao Jiao's family contract the land. When the scope is large, there will always be areas that cannot be taken into account. And not all places are suitable for installing surveillance. Only the land contracted when Xiaoningsun was at home had better fences. In other places, some places are under construction, and some places are not suitable and have not been built. Some people come here today to steal some fruits, and tomorrow they go there to steal some vegetables. Although there are patrols in every piece of land, the land is too big. As soon as they left here, someone came to steal it. So there will be less vegetables and fruits every day. Xiao Kongsheng also has a big pattern. He feels that if others are stealing vegetables and fruits, their life will definitely not be very good. Therefore, as long as it is not too much, he tells his daughter not to worry too much, since their family is not short of money anyway. Xiao Shulan also listened to him and turned a blind eye to things like missing 1 or 2 fruits or half a kilo of vegetables. Some people have been stealing for a long time without being discovered, and their ambitions have become bigger and bigger. It is now September, the grape ripening season in Nanjing. The grapes planted by Xiaoningsun also matured in these 2 days. At this time, 2 men were sneaking around in the vineyard. When Xiaoningsun passed by, the 2 of them were entering through the simple fence. Due to her cultivation, she could clearly see their faces even if she couldn't see her fingers. It is Zhang Chao and Zhang Cai. The 2 of them were scolded by her several times that year. Later, something happened in the village and she sent some people to jail, so they stayed away for a long time. Later I heard from the village chief that Zhang Chao and Zhang Cai were introduced by relatives and went to work for a period of time in order to find a wife. Xiaoningsun counted with his fingers and sneered again and again. It turns out that I am still lazy in eating and cooking in other places. I thought everything was the same as in the village. They obviously go to work at 8:30, but the 2 of them insisted on going to work at 9 o'clock. They also said that the boss said it was 9 o'clock, so why should they go to work at 8 o'clock? Obviously they get off work at 5:30, but the two of them insist on getting off work at 5 o'clock for the same reason as above. There is no life in my eyes. When I work, I do what others ask me to do. If I don't ask them to do it, I just sit aside and play with my mobile phone. Even if the leader comes to inspect, he never takes it seriously. They also don't care about cleanliness and dress slovenly, so their colleagues ostracize them. The two of them work as security guards in a supermarket. One of their jobs is to prevent thieves from stealing things. But the two of them, after stopping it several times, pretended to be invisible. Even after get off work, you have to wear a mask and your own regular clothes to steal things. One person protected and the other stole. Just like this, they were not discovered for more than half a year. At first, all they stole were small snacks, which were difficult to detect. Later, when they saw that no one noticed, they became more and more determined to steal expensive ones. After stealing them, they went to the school area and sold them to students at low prices. By the time the incident happened, they had already sold tens of thousands of yuan. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen Chen. Chapter 488. After the supermarket found out, they immediately called the police and sent them to prison. Last month, the two of them were released together. The person who introduced their work was punished because of them and no longer cared about them. The money they earned before was either squandered or lost to supermarkets. Therefore, they could not stay abroad any longer, so they rolled back to Daguo village in despair. By this time, Zhang Qiao and Zhang Cai had adapted to the dark night. The two of them held flashlights in their mouths, each opened a bunch of grape bags, looked at the plump and ripe grapes in front of them, and swallowed at the same time. In order not to attract attention, after seeing the appearance of the grapes clearly, the two of them turned off the flashlights at the same time. Zhang Cai, are you sure that this grape is a new variety that has been released in recent years? It is very expensive and can be sold for a lot of money. Zhang Qiao, that's right. From now on, we will go out to steal fruit at night and sell it quietly during the day. The price of this fruit is much higher than what we sold before. We can definitely sell more fruit than before. Zhang Cai, last month we stole fruits here and sold them for 3,000 yuan. If we sell these grapes, we can definitely sell them for 5,000 to 6,000 yuan. Zhang Qiao, I heard from people during the day that they will come to pick these grapes tomorrow. People in the city like them the most. They can be sold for at least 30 yuan a caddy. Zhang Cai rolled up his sleeves. Then let's hurry up, 1 pound is 30, 10 pounds is 300, my god, as long as we sell 100 pounds a day, that's 3,000, which is comparable to what others sell in a month's salary. Zhang Qiao, that's right. The two of them stopped talking nonsense and immediately started cutting the grapes. The two of them also know that the better the appearance, the better the price. Moreover, this kind of grape is expensive. In their eyes, it is like being made of silver. They must be cut with extreme care for fear of damaging it and losing money. To be on the safe side, the two of them cut off some and sent some out to avoid being discovered by others. Then they would be picked up in one pot and all their previous efforts would be wasted. Qiao Ningxun sneered, I'll keep you excited for a few more hours. When daybreak comes, your good days will be over. If you eat from me, spit it out bit by bit for me. 3 hours later, it was completely bright. Qiao Ningxun has also recorded evidence of their crimes, and even recorded everything they said, ensuring that they can be put in jail. It's just that stealing is not a felony, and he will probably be released after another 1 or 2 years in prison. After thinking about it for a while, Qiao Ningxun suddenly put a bad luck charm on both of them. She is just doing justice for heaven. If they continue to act recklessly, there will probably be more victims. Seeing that the time was almost up, Qiao Ningxun suddenly made a call to Qiao Shulan, Mom, I guess someone stole something in our orchard. I have already called the police. The police will be at the door soon. You and the police go to the orchard to have a look. I will send you a video and audio recording later, which I recorded when I asked my friend to go there. You can hand it over to the police. Xiao Shulan's expression became nervous, she nodded, and quickly did as she said. After talking to her parents, they wanted to follow her, but she didn't stop them. Zhang Chao saw that it was almost dawn, it's time for those people to go to work soon, let's leave quickly. Zhang Cai was a little reluctant to part with it. 1 pound was 30, and a bunch weighed at least 2 pounds. If you cut 2 more pounds, you could sell it for 60 yuan more. So he ignored Zhang Chao's words and continued to cut for 5 minutes. When it was completely bright, he hurriedly ran out of the orchard. Zhang Chao was extremely anxious outside. Seeing that he finally came out, he gritted his teeth and said, "Which is more important, money or life?" Zhang Sheng said aggrievedly, "I also want to make more money." Zhang Chao wanted to give him 2 slaps, but he also knew that now was not the time. Let's go home quickly. Fortunately, we have a lot of straw on the cart. When we meet people, we can just fool them. Who are you trying to fool? A woman's voice suddenly reached their ears. The two looked frightened. They looked around and saw Xiao Shulan with her family and the police, followed by many villagers, staring at them intently. It's over, when did they appear here? Xiao Shulan stepped forward and lifted the cloth on the cart, and saw that the straw was covered with grapes. The fragrance of the colorful leaves filled his mouth with smoke, and he said angrily, "Okay, you two, you came to steal the grapes when they were just ripe. It's really too much." Xiao Kongsheng was also very angry, "We pay people such high wages and take care of these grapes every day, but you come to pick them up and do business without capital. Your cleverness is used here. No wonder you became labor reform prisoners." Xiao Shulan calmed down and said seriously, "Dear policeman, I just sent you evidence on the way, and now someone has stolen the goods together. Please let them give us an explanation." The old policeman said, "Don't worry, they are suspected of theft, and they are habitual offenders. They will inevitably go to jail." Zhang Chao hurriedly said, We are not stealing, we are just helping them cut the grapes." Zhang Sheng understood what he meant and echoed, "Yes, we are just here to help." Xiao Shulan said coldly, "I came here to help in the middle of the night. Would you believe it if it were you? Since you want to help, why not come and help during the day when everyone is in the fields? Do you think we are all as easy to fool as you?" As she spoke, she played the recording of their conversation last night. After the playback, Xiao Shulan saw that the two people's faces turned pale again, and Xiao Shulan mocked, "Do you think no one will hear what you said if you come here in the middle of the night?" Zhang Chao and Zhang Sheng looked at each other and suddenly ran away. The police and villagers did not expect that they would dare to run away, so they quickly chased them. It was just that they had just been running for 2 minutes when something happened to relieve their anger. Zhang Chao had not been running for long when he suddenly stepped on a slippery stone, which happened to be a cliff next to it, causing him to fall down. Zhang Sheng was no luckier than him. Not long after running, he suddenly stepped on a poisonous snake. When he was nervous, he fell into the water next to him and drifted farther and farther. The police and villagers worked together to rescue him. When they found Zhang Chao, he had suffered comminuted fractures all over his body. Even if he was rescued, he would never be able to sit up for the rest of his life. Zhang Sheng was even worse. The poisonous snake was so poisonous that it could paralyze people's nerves. If the poison was squeezed out in time and the serum was injected, nothing would happen. Unexpectedly, he fell into the lake, and because he couldn't swim, he struggled fiercely in the water, drifting further and further away. By the time villagers and policemen who knew how to swim rescued him, he had already fainted. "Send him to the hospital," The hospital said the poisoning was too deep and the toxins had damaged the nerves in his legs, and he would never be able to stand up again. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 489. Sending such people to prison will also cause trouble for state personnel. Xiao Shulan did not pursue their fault anymore. After asking them to pay compensation, she asked their family members to take them back. From then on, the two were despised by their families, but they could not die until they were in their 50s. Of course, this is all for later. The next day, there were still many classes. Xiao Ningxun walked to school with her cousins early in the morning. In order to save time, they all bought breakfast at the roadside. As soon as they arrived at the gate of the community, they saw Yan Mengrui already waiting for them with breakfast. Yan Mengrui had seen He Yuanyang buying breakfast on the road several times before, and knew that they must not have eaten breakfast, so she brought several portions from home. Seeing the three people coming, Yan Mengrui hurriedly gave them a portion of the breakfast box in her hand. You three, you haven't had breakfast yet. This is made by my servant. It's delicious. You can eat it, there's also hot milk in it. The three of them frowned at the same time when they saw that her attitude had changed 180 degrees compared to last time. Seeing this, Yan Mengrui hurriedly explained, I'm sorry, I misunderstood your relationship. You are brothers and sisters. It was my random thoughts that brought you trouble. I'm really sorry. This breakfast is my apology. Yes. Xiao Ningxun and her cousin looked at each other, and the three of them were about to return her breakfast at the same time. Although she calculated that it was not poisonous, the four of them had nothing to do with each other, so it would not be good to accept others' benefits at will. Seeing this, Yan Mengrui took a few steps back and looked at He Yuanyang with a sad face. Don't you guys forgive me? I know I was wrong, I just like you too much, that's why I did that before. He Yuanyang took the lunch boxes of his siblings and put them in Yan Mengrui's hands. Just because you like me, you indiscriminately accuse my cousin? The next time a female relative comes to me, you continue to attack her? Now you admit that you just misunderstood my relationship with my cousin. If I really find a girlfriend next time, will you still hurt her? Yan Mengrui looked at the lunchbox in her hand and was angry. She had humbled herself to please him, so why did he say such outrageous things? Everything I do is just because I like you. None of them are worthy of you. Being by your side will only drag you down. Only my family background can be worthy of you. As long as you are with me, I am an only child, and I will inherit the family business. If you marry me, what is mine will be yours, and you will be spared decades of struggle. Isn't that good? Not good, He Yuanyang said in an indifferent tone. I don't want to be my son-in-law, and I don't like you either. What you said is all your wishful thinking. He didn't want to waste any more time with her, so he walked directly past her. Xiao Ningxun walked to Yan Mengrui's side. Although she didn't have a good impression of this person, but because of her infatuation, she couldn't help but say a few words. This is not how you chase men. With his appearance and family background, what kind of man can't be found? Why should I hang myself on a tree like my cousin? He Yuanhui also said, my eldest brother was raised by my second aunt since he was a child, and his father abandoned us since he was a child. People like us who are equivalent to having no father and mother, if we really have anything to do with a family like yours, do you know how wronged my eldest brother will be? Your parents will never approve of you dating my eldest brother, but they are relatives after all, not us. You should find someone with a good match. We really can't afford a family like yours. After the two of them finished talking, they went to chase He Yuanyang. Hearing this, Yan Mengrui looked at their backs and then at the breakfast in their hands, and tears instantly flowed down. Xie Qian had been standing not far away. She had just heard what they said. Mengrui, what they said is actually reasonable. Your status is indeed too high for ordinary people. If the woman's family is better than if the man's family is in good condition, it is very likely that he will not be able to hold his head high. A man in my community originally introduced the daughter of a high-ranking official to him, but he felt that he would be offended if he married that person because he only had a salary of 5,000 a month, so he refused and instead married someone with the same family background as him. They are almost classmates in high school, and although life is a bit difficult, the two of them are doing well. Yan Mengrui wiped her tears with a stubborn look on her face. I know what you mean, but I have never been tempted by anyone else since I was a child. I will not give up. Xie Qian sighed and said nothing. Some people just don't look back until they hit the wall. Not long after Qiaoningsun and her cousin returned to the classroom, they received a call from Shen Menyun. She also discussed the results with the company's key personnel and agreed to Qiaoningsun's acquisition. Shen Menyun didn't say that everyone in the company was opposed to it, thinking that Qiaoningsun was too young. But she moved out of Qiaoningsun's family, so those people felt relieved. Qiaoningsun had to go to class and didn't have much time to go through the procedures, so she left everything to Chu Yanyi and asked him to send someone to run the procedures for her. After lunch, at the insistence of Yan Yuxiu and Gan Xiao, she also went to the club recruitment office with them to have a look. Yan Yuxiu and Gan Xiao had heard before that joining the student union would be beneficial to their future employment, so they wanted to join the student union. Qiaoningsun has no interest in clubs. After entering university in her previous life, she also participated. At that time, she also participated in it to train herself. But now she mainly specializes in investment, and she really doesn't have time, so she didn't go to get the watch. After the three of them reunited, Gan Xiao saw that Qiaoningsun didn't have a watch in his hand and asked, Ningsun, aren't you interested? Qiaoningsun, no. After saying that, she glanced at the application forms in their hands and twitched the corner of her mouth. Each of them had a dozen or so in their hands. After thinking about it, she still advised, I'm just suggesting that you can apply to multiple people at the same time. Submit the application form to the club. If you are lucky, you can go through several interviews and just choose one to participate. You have also looked at the class schedule. Although some people have said since elementary school that it will be easier after you go to college and you can play every day. But it is not easy to get good grades in college. From the beginning of your freshman year, you have to prepare for various exams. If you take too many exams, it will really affect your study and make you anxious. She went to college once and knew that college life was not like what she imagined when she was a child. Achieving good results depends entirely on self-awareness. Except for geniuses, of course. Universities just don't control students that strictly. In fact, it's not easy to obtain various certificates. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 490. Gan Xiao frowned, it seems so. It's October soon, and the Set-4 test will be held soon. And I heard that if you have part-time experience at university, it will be easier to get accepted by big companies for internships in the future. I still want to go on Saturday and Sunday. Work to earn a living. Yan Yuxiu looked at the application form reluctantly. Okay, I'll listen to you. Go to a few more interviews and choose one. Qiaoningsun saw that they could listen to their opinions, so he said nothing more. The time soon arrived on Sunday. Because there will be 7 days of classes in a row, the classes on Saturday and Sunday will be Thursday and Friday. On Sunday afternoon, there are only 2 physical education classes. After that, it is a long vacation. Students can go home if they want, and stay in school if they want to stay. Qiaoningsun went to meet with the senior management of Vegetative Pharmaceutical Company, hereinafter referred to as Huaishan Pharmaceutical, on the first day of the long holiday, and then went with Shen Menyun to a pharmaceutical field operated by the company itself. Like many companies, Huaishan Pharmaceutical has its own pharmaceutical fields, but if someone comes to sell medicinal materials, they can also purchase them as long as they meet the company's acquisition standards. For the ancient medicine prescriptions she provided to have the greatest effect, all the medicines must have been stimulated by her magic. This time she still went with Chu Yanyi in his Rolls-Royce. After arriving, Shen Menyun took her directly to the medicine field. The medicine field is on a mountain and it is inconvenient to drive, so they can only walk up it. Shen Menyun walked to the foot of the mountain, looked at a kind of herbal medicine grown at the foot of the mountain, and introduced, "I often come here personally or send people to the medicinal fields here, because I am afraid that the farmers will be lazy and affect the growth of the medicinal herbs. The medicines produced by our company are all made of herbal medicines. There are very few chemicals coming out. The medicinal materials here are quite complete. As long as they are exported, I have them here." Qiaoningsun took a quick look and heard that herbs were grown on the hills here. At first glance, there are quite a lot. But once her ancient prescription comes out, these medicinal materials will definitely not be enough. Qiaoningsun, if possible, we can expand the channels for purchasing medicinal materials, and contract to grow some medicinal herbs on the hills. I'm worried that the current medicinal herbs will not be enough in the future. Shen Menyun nodded, took out his mobile phone and recorded it on his notepad. "Okay, I wrote it down." Qiaoningsun looked around again and then returned to the office down the mountain. "As soon as I arrived at the door, I saw a few people poking their heads at the door." Shen Menyun's face looked a little ugly. Chu Yanyi noticed her look and asked, "Do you know them?" Seeing Qiaoningsun looking at her, Shen Menyun felt a little uncomfortable and said, "They are my ex-husband and his mother. I was terminally ill before and couldn't have another child. The factory was in debt. They were worried that the debt would fall on them if I died. Divorced me." Qiaoningsun raised her eyebrows and said, "Then they appear here because they probably know that the factory can survive and want to ask you to remarry." Chu Yanyi also said, "Even if your illness has not been cured, to put it bluntly, after remarrying, if you leave, the debt-free factory belongs to them, and even if you sell it, you can still get a lot of money." Shen Menyun was stunned for a moment. Seeing that her ex-husband finally noticed her, a smile appeared on her face and she hurriedly walked towards her. Zhu Changfu saw the Rolls-Royce behind Shen Menyun and said with a greedy look, "Honey, I heard that the debts of your factory are going to be paid off, and you also got a new prescription. It seems to be true. You have changed it so well. It's a car. It's a top-notch Rolls-Royce, much better than my car worth hundreds of thousands." As long as Shen Menyun is tricked back, he can also drive a Rolls-Royce. You must know that even when Huaishan Pharmaceutical was at its best, Shen Menyun was reluctant to buy him a Rolls-Royce. Just after Zhu Changfu looked at it for a long time, Chu Yanyi blocked his greedy sight. Zhu Changfu saw that Chu Yanyi was better looking than him and said displeasedly, "Get out of my way." Chu Yanyi said coldly, "What qualifications do you have to order me? I don't have to show you my car." Zhu Changfu was stunned. "Is this your car?" Chu Yanyi, "If it's not mine, how can it be yours?" Zhu Changfu frowned and looked at Shen Menyun. "This is not your car." Shen Menyun mocked, "When did I say this is my car? You have always been self-righteous." Zhu Changfu looked at Chu Yanyi, an idea flashed through his mind, and he asked with a gloomy face, "Is this man your new best friend?" Shen Menyun sneered, "You still only think about this in your mind. He is the boyfriend of the new boss of the factory. I am already old. If I can find such a rich and handsome young man, I can still divorce you this year." Zhu Changfu choked, looked at Chu Yanyi, and then at Qiaoningsun. is this the new owner of Huaishan Pharmaceutical? Shen Menyun did not answer. Zhu Changfu took it as her acquiescence. He originally wanted to say a few words to Jiaoningsun, but Chu Yanyi stood in front of Jiaoningsun again. Zhu Changfu touched his nose awkwardly and said to his ex-wife, "Man Yun, I was wrong. I will divorce you." After that, everyone in my family said that I should not divorce you or abandon you. I came here to admit my mistake. You come home with me and we can get married again. Ran Kuiwa also said with a flattering look, "Man Yun, I went too far before. You are already sick, and I still force you to divorce. It is really too much. After your divorce, the neighbors scolded our mother and son for being too ruthless and unjust. Our family, now that we know we were wrong, just go back with us." Shen Menyun ignored them and wanted to go back to the office. Ran Kuiwa had no choice but to quickly stop her. When the security guards at the door saw this, a man came out and stood beside Shen Menyun. As long as Ran Kuiwa dares to take action, he will dare to fight back. Shen Menyun said angrily, "Ran Kuiwa, don't stop me here, I have nothing to do with you." Ran Kuiwa frowned when she heard her name. "What did you call me?" Shen Menyun mocked, "If I don't call you Ran Kuiwa, do you expect me to call you Mom? Have you forgotten how you scolded me before, how you forced me to divorce your son? Do you want me to show you?" Once. Zhu Changfu yelled, "Shen Menyun, this is my mother, this is your mother. How did you talk to our mother? Are there any rules? Apologize to my mother." "Apologize," Shen Menyun also yelled back, "Why should I apologize? You two have nothing to do with me and come to block my way. I haven't asked you to apologize to me yet. Where do you have the face to ask me? Apologize to you?" Chu Yanyi echoed, "This is the first time I have seen such an unreasonable mother and son." Jiaoningsun sighed, "There are so many good men in the world, but Shen Menyun chose the best one from this family when he was young.